I am 21. My wife is 20. We live together with my mother-in-law, who is very good-looking at 41. But she has a bad temper, like a bitch on a chain behaves sometimes, probably because alone and without a man's affection. You know what I mean. All married men have problems with their mothers-in-law. No matter what kind of mother-in-law it is, she always causes problems. Of course, some men are lucky. Their mothers-in-law are rather quiet and peaceful women. Others, on the contrary, are quite aggressive and quarrelsome. Mine is more of both. She seems to be a very quarrelsome woman, but is often very kind. I want to talk about another facet of my relationship with my mother-in-law, though, which has been putting me on edge lately, and I berate myself for my weakness that day. I got married 2 years ago, and I can't say I regret it. I love my wife, but my mother-in-law has drained the blood out of me, and she knows how to do it not directly, but through my wife. She is constantly dripping on her brain, trying to turn her against me. When I talk to her, she is constantly trying to turn me against her. When I talk to her, she is friendly. I think it's because of her bitchiness divorced from not having a man around. She was without a husband for a long time. He left her with her daughter when she was still young because my wife, in her almost young years, happened to have a mother-in-law. The marriage was wedded, but apparently the man could not stand the marriage and left when my wife Olivia was only a few years old. My wife's mom, that is, my mother-in-law, never married again and did not even have a steady lover, according to Olivia's stories. In general, this is a 41-year-old woman with an inner hatred for men. However, against the background of her heavy character, it is worth noting that she is a very attractive woman for her age. She looks no more than 35 years old. She is tall, slender, always well-groomed, does sports, and in every possible way supports her beauty, probably. That's why she is so well-preserved. Even in a mini, she looks great. It is surprising how she remained without a man, but the fact remains. Now it's worth turning to that recent story I told you about, the one I don't know what to say about. My wife and I don't have our own place yet. We're a young family and we're just getting an apartment. And I already wanted to rent a place and move, but Olivia categorically refuses to leave her mother, reasoning that the apartment is in the center of the city and 3 rooms for the 3 of us is quite enough. Although in the light of recent events I still think to move out, and now I will try to explain why. Since we live together, I am under the constant supervision of my wife, and if my wife is not around, then my mother-in-law. So sometimes I want to have a drink, relax with friends. But as I think about what these 2 women will arrange at home, I do not even want to drink. It is very difficult to hold on, because every time my wife or mother-in-law starts nagging, I want to run away from home and get drunk. For 2 years I held on, but at that moment I couldn't. My wife and I had a big fight. Of course, not without my mom's help. Olivia jumped on me with suspicions of infidelity, which was not really the case. Just her mother accused me of flirting with a young neighbor, and I just gave her a light when we stood together on the landing. But was it possible to explain something to his wife when she was so cleverly and colorfully persuaded in this mother? To make a long story short, Olivia left with a grudge to a friend for 2 days, and I went to a bar with my friends, drunk as a pig. We drank all evening until late at night. During this drunkenness, I tried to call my wife, but she didn't want to talk to me. But her mom, surprisingly, called me herself. She called at 12 o'clock at night, started apologizing, and promised that she would fix everything if I wanted her to. I honestly don't remember what I said to her, but I do remember that she asked me to come home and go to bed so that by the next evening I would be fine and able to meet my wife, who my mother-in-law promised to bring in person. I probably wouldn't have gone home, but having clearly had too much to drink, I realized that I needed to get home and go to bed right away. My friends called me a cab, and off I went. I don't remember how I got up to the apartment. I don't even remember how I got to my room. I didn't have the energy to undress, so I just took off my shoes and flopped down on the bed with my clothes on, passing out immediately. I woke up to the sounds in the room. I was too lazy to open my eyes, especially since the sun was shining through my eyelids. I kept my eyes open and tried to go back to sleep, but I heard the sound of footsteps and decided to see who it was. I thought I saw my wife, but when I opened my eyes, I saw my mother-in-law in front of my bed. She was standing there in her favorite dark blue silk robe looking at me. "Good morning." I tried to say hello. "Good morning, Michael. Did you have a good walk yesterday?" she asked with her usual snarkiness. "Not really, just needed to relieve stress through my teeth," I replied. "And I see that you had a good rest, even undressed before," said my mother-in-law. "Yes, I got drunk. So what?" "It's nothing. I just think that Olivia will not be very happy with your nightly drinking, and even with women," said my mother-in-law. "What women? Are you crazy?" "It's the neighbor, then women. What do you want from me? Can't you give us freedom and live normally?" "I'm angry. Don't yell. Maybe I'll do you some small favor in return," my mother-in-law said with a smirk. "What do you want?" I answered just as rudely. "Nothing in particular. I just want to help you undress. You, most importantly, do not disturb me and lie still," said the mother-in-law with a smile. I did not understand anything at first. I even froze in bewilderment and just looked at her with round and incomprehensible eyes. "What are you doing?" I asked in surprise. "Quiet. I told you to lie still, and that's it." I tried to stop her by grabbing her hand. "I told you not to interfere with me. I can tell my daughter that you were out with women all night, and I can even find one that will confirm it and describe it to her in fine detail," she said imperiously. "You wouldn't dare, or rather Olivia wouldn't believe you," I said indignantly. "I dare. And you can be sure that Olivia will believe my story, and after what I've heard, she's bound to leave you." "You know how she listens to me," said the mother-in-law and smiled slyly. I thought to myself that Olivia had always trusted her mother without question, and that she was capable of any meanness. Finding myself in such a stalemate, I thought of nothing else but to let go of my mother-in-law's hand. She grinned and went back to what she had started. I was embarrassed, to say the least, but I didn't resist. I don't remember how long it went on, but then the phone rang, and my mother-in-law jumped up from the bed and picked up the phone on the nightstand. It was Olivia calling, and then mother-in-law abruptly turned very caring and attentive to me. She told her daughter that I came in early yesterday, very upset, and that she was probably wrong about the neighbor. I was very surprised and even somehow happy, but it was too late. After hanging up the phone, my mother-in-law turned to me. "She's on her way home. She'll be here soon. See, I can handle everything and make sure you'll be fine. Just remember, when I ask for something, you'll have to comply. You realize that Olivia won't believe you, but I will definitely ruin your relationship with just a few words in my daughter's ear," said the mother-in-law, and having finished her monologue, looked at me questioningly. Embarrassed, I only nodded in response. All 2 months after this incident, my mother-in-law speaks only good about me. I don't know what to do. If I refuse my mother-in-law, I will lose my wife. I'll do it. Also wrong. In short, I'm trapped, and I don't know how to find a way out. What am I supposed to do? Subscribe, comment what you think about it.